friend.
Hi, friend.
Welcome back to the Friend Podcast. I'm your co-host, Sarah.
I'm your co-host, Sabrina.
And today we're going to talk about books. We entered our reading era
during COVID.
And now we're kind of like, sometimes it's our only character trait, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
So we're excited to break into all of our book icks, the things we like, the things we don't, all the things that, I don't know, just all the book things. But first, in typical, format of this podcast, we have to do our hyperfixation, our favorite, and our hot take of the week. Sabrina, why don't you start us off with your hyperfixation of the week?
Okay, my hyperfixation, since this is the book episode, is Iron Flame, or Fourth Wing in general, the Empyrean series by, why did I forget her name?
Rebecca Saros.
Rebecca Yaros.
Oh, Yaros.
Yeah. Ugh, so good. Beautiful. Amazing.
Ironically book related, but not intentional.
Yeah.
My hyperfixation is book talk, because I feel like I go in and out of book talk. I can't figure out how to get on. Sabrina's on book talk for sure. I can't figure out how to get on like consistent book talk where I'm consistently getting good recs and stuff. So I always have to look up book talk, and then I feel like I get a lot of the same stuff that like I have already seen.
Yeah, every video is like the same recommendations.
Yeah. So I've been just, book content, booktubers, I really like, there's some booktubers that I really like that I'll shout out here. Destiny Sidwell, Sarah Caroli, Haley Pham. I feel like everybody watched Haley Pham.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the what is it?
The Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity of booktubers, and I love them.
Have you seen the silent book reviews?
No.
Oh my gosh, you need to join that on TikTok. It's the best. It's literally people put up like a book in front of them, in front of the camera, and they silent react to it. They're like,
oh, that's cool.
It's so good.
Okay, I should try that. All right. Next is favorite of the week. Mine is very random. I did one of the quintessential female activities of deep diving on TikTok one night. And I've been having some skin issues. Not issues. I feel like I haven't been doing enough to like get rid of my acne scars.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, I just haven't really cared. But then I feel like sometimes they're like very, like it's all I can look at, you know? And other times I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. So I went on my skin brightening journey, and I'm on all sorts of like vitamin C serum, niacinamide, all that. But The Ordinary makes azelaic acid, which is a super like, the only way I can describe it is like a very bouncy like lotion.
Like
it's
jelly,
like rubbery.
kind of? Okay.
Yeah. And I put it on in the morning before I put on SPF. And it's just so, like, my skin has never been, honestly, I've seen a huge difference in the evening, but not really, like, the big scars. Like, the big scars, I feel like, are still there. But the evening, I feel like it's helped with. And it's very, like, my skin feels very moist. Like, it's very soft. It's not bumpy.
Okay.
So that's and it's very, I don't really remember how much it was. But The Ordinary tends to be pretty reasonable, I feel like.
Pretty affordable.
Yeah. Let's see. It was $11. That's pretty good. For like a solid acid that's just that.
My favorite, I feel like, is a little strange. I had a hard time thinking about favorites because I don't really like stray away from my comfort things. But yesterday we went to Athleta, and I haven't even worn it once. But just trying it on, I just know it's going to be a favorite soon enough. And it's, I guess, their new flare pant, the Elation Ultra Flare.
They look like bell bottoms.
Yeah,
think like Lainey Wilson.
Yes,
bell bottoms.
Amazing. And the flares, like, that's why they name it Ultra. It's much bigger than the usual flare.
I feel like I think last season when the flare leggings came back, Sabrina and I really went on like a flare legging deep dive of like all the flare leggings that we liked. Lululemon consistently ranked in the bottom.
It's so bad.
The groove pant, it
gives straight pant.
Yeah, especially if you have bigger legs. It's not, I'm sure if you were like a size 1.
Yeah, it does nothing for you.
But the Athleta, Is it Athleta? It's Athleta.
I say Athleta, and
everyone
I'm
else
not
says
mad about
Athleta.
it. Mm-hmm.
Athleta, Elation, flare pants, just the normal ones, are pretty good. My biggest flare leggings are the airy ones.
Oh yeah.
But I don't like the material of them. They're very cheap,
Stretchy,
spandex kind of. Yeah.
These are like comparable to a Lion, I would say, or similar. Oh,
I would say the Elation from Athleta feel like Aligns, and the Groove pants from Lulu feel cheap.
Yep.
They're like half ply tissue.
Yeah.
Could be a hot take.
It might be a hot take, but
But Athleta is not one of those athletic brands that are like is cheaper than Lululemon. It's like the same price.
Oh, it's the same.
Yeah.
They're just more transparent about their prices.
And they also have sales.
Yeah.
Like real sales. And since it's a Gap company, if you have a account, you get rewards. Mm-hmm. So I always have money like to spend there. And I'm an insider at Lululemon, and I don't get jack shit.
You know, I have yet to get into Athleta leggings. I haven't yet found the right one to wear. So I feel like Lululemon's still better for that.
Yeah, Lululemon's still the best in the legging game.
Yeah.
However, I do feel like the quality is not always that great.
Really? Depends on the legging?
I feel like they pill a lot, but I don't know.
That's true.
Hot take. Yours is first.
Oh, really? I haven't picked mine yet.
Oh, okay, because mine actually relates to what we were just talking about, your favorite, so I feel like... So my hot take is that raw dogging your leggings is a heinous activity.
Yep.
And Sabrina and I talk about it a lot. Listen, without shouting any of you out, there's a lot of people in my personal life who don't wear underwear with leggings. I commend you for your service. I also don't understand why. It's
really gross. I mean,
first of all, you're not really supposed to wash your leggings every time you wear them.
Yeah, that's not good for the leggings.
Not good for the leggings. But you would if you had cooter juice in them.
Yep.
I also don't understand these people that think like underwear are so uncomfortable. Like,
it's not.
Just I don't feel my underwear right now.
Me neither.
I also feel
I find it more comfortable.
Everyone's like, "Oh, air out your vagina." I air out my vagina, just not when they're wearing their leggings. Also, that's not airing out your vagina. Your vagina is no more aired out.
Yeah, because there's still fabric there.
It's worse, just heinous. Everything about it. I mean, you know who I'm talking about. People who do that, and then like you can see visible stains in between their legs because your vagina's not dry. Your vagina secretes things. Yeah. Your vagina, you pee. Right. It's not always 100% dry. Mm-hmm. I just cannot understand. I don't get it.
Also, everybody knows, or everybody should know, that like cotton is the best fabric to wear down there. Yeah. You don't want to be wearing any, I don't know. Like if you're going to be wearing athletic leggings like spandex with no underwear, you're inviting all sorts of infection.
Also, unless you're washing your stuff on like hot. Yeah. Are you killing cooter germs that are in your pants? Right. You're not. Also, you know how your underwear sometimes like bleached a little bit, like where your butthole is or whatever? Mm-hmm. Is that just happening to your pants?
No, I guess it wouldn't go up there unless you...
Well, it's nothing there though.
Also, the other thing that I don't understand... Also, you just
like fart directly into your pants?
I guess.
There's so many things about it that I just can't understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really just
It seems like a low level of protection from other things. Also, if you're going on vacation and you're going in for 7 days, does that mean I'm bringing 7 pairs of leggings?
I guess so. That's a lot of space. Right. Yeah. I mean, you could take like 50 underwear for like way less space. Right.
I don't really get,
Guys, just go find the right pair of underwear. It won't hurt you.
I have been wearing underwear my whole life, every day, and not one regret. Yeah. My cooter's been fine. Mm-hmm. She's told me she's happy.
You called her.
I just don't think like I have someone in my life. Wow, very hard not to name drop. Who's like, oh well, I wear leggings when I'm I'll wear underwear if I'm traveling like on an airplane. What? And I'm like, so what's the difference between me sitting in your passenger seat in your car on top of whatever juices your leggings left versus like an airplane seat?
Oh my God. I never thought about that, and now I'm grossed out.
It's like that thing about like how you touch 15 dicks a day because men never wash their hands. How many cooters do you sit on because women are wearing no underwear?
I can't. I'm never leaving the house again.
Yeah, it's icky.
And there's way too many women that do this.
And that's my hot take. Literally, every time I'm like, oh, that girl definitely wears underwear, they reveal to me that they don't. And I just...
Ick.
People who don't wear them with jeans, too.
I've done that before out of necessity. Like, I didn't have...
Yeah, but isn't that just rubbing?
Pair. Yeah, it's so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Just wear your underwear, guys. Take the time to find a good quality underwear that you like and buy them. Might I recommend, which are the ones that I like? Tommy John. They're expensive, but they're cotton and they're very comfy. $45 for 3 pairs. So it's definitely like an investment, but invest in your vagina.
Yeah.
Aerie also has great underwear for not that much. I think it's like 7 for $27. That's my hot take.
Love that hot take.
Thanks for coming.
My hot take, since we're talking about a little bit of athletics, like working out in general. Anyone who subscribes to the idea that strength training makes you too big or too bulky with muscles, I think is just a fool or lacks fitness education.
So I don't have a lot to add to that hot take. But I get it because I think like strength training doesn't mean let me be a bodybuilder.
No.
I want to be strong. I don't want my back to lock up every time I stand up. Just like strengthening your body does not mean becoming mega muscled. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's like a medium take. I wouldn't feel like that's hot.
It's not hot.
It depends on what community you're in, I guess.
Yeah. I think just most of the time that opinion comes from people that claim that they're into fitness, and that's why it bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, people in my life, like friends and stuff, who are like, oh, yeah, I don't strength train. That's not for me. I don't want to get bulky. Like, what?
But, like, you can do it to the point of not getting bulky.
Yeah. Most of the time, you're not going to get bulky unless you're, like, eating, like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like, eating, like, 10 eggs a day.
That's disgusting. Doesn't he eat them raw too or something?
I think
crazy?
so. Yeah.
Michael Phelps' diet, that's wild.
I've never
He eats
heard.
like 10,000 calories a day or something.
My God.
I feel like that's wrong.
Michael Phelps, does he look bulky to you?
No.
Besides in the shoulder, maybe?
Michael Phelps eats 12,000 calories a day.
Wow.
He eats fruit, coffee, large bowl of oatmeal, big ham and cheese omelet. Lunch, he'll eat a meatball sub. Yeah, he eats 12,000 calories. So, like, my guy just goes to McDonald's probably.
See? And he is not bulky. He's not a bodybuilder. He's a swimmer.
Yeah. He eats a lot. But he burns it all.
Yeah. Strength is important.
Because his whole life is essentially just one big ball of cardio.
I think it stems a lot from, like, our parents who are like, oh, you're going to look like a man. At least my mom. Oh, you're gonna look like a man.
That's kind of like a specifically Andrea like my mom would never say that to me.
Your mom wouldn't, but I feel like a lot of women you know, were brought up in like the 60s, 70s,
my demure
80s.
white mother would never.
Yeah.
My mom is the one who, like, I showed up in an Outdoor Voices dress over the summer, just green exercise dress with literal boob sweat under my boobs, and she was like, oh my gosh, that dress, Sarah, is just so flattering on you. I was like, literally die. It's like 100 degrees outside right
Your
now.
mom is she's different. She's the exception.
Yeah, my mom thinks that not everybody. My mom thinks that I'm just like the most amazing thing that she's ever seen in her whole life, which, you know,
I am.
Pop off. the classic, like, daddy's girl, I feel like my mom inherited that trait for, like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, the, like, my daughter's perfect thing. Definitely. My dad does not think that. But my mom for sure. So today, like I mentioned, we're gonna just do some reading chats about books and things and junk like that and stuff. We're gonna talk about what we're currently reading, all that. I think, like, I'll just do interview style. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what are you currently reading? You kind of mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, it's the same as my hyperfixation. Iron Flame. It came out November 7th, and I'm 92% through it. Love it.
I feel like, honestly, that's, for some people, that's like, you should have been done already.
I should have been done. I've been savoring it, and I like savoring it.
I read multiple books at a time in multiple different platforms. I'm a commuter to college. I work in DC, etc. So I always have an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, though, I'm actually reading my physical book and my audiobook are the same. I'm reading ACOTAR.
Yes, she is.
Sabrina got super into ACOTAR at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, read it. And I was like, no. Like,
Simply no.
Yeah, the last episode I talked about it. It was like a mental block that I couldn't get through.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
I don't know. I think I went back to was I? No, but for the 2 weeks when I was talking about not being into it, I wasn't commuting, remember?
Oh,
so
yeah.
the way that I got into it was actually reading the audiobook, listen to the audiobook while I was driving.
Mm-hmm.
For the first couple just chapters to just like get me hooked.
Yeah.
And then after that I was like in it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Audiobooks do wonders when you can't get into something. It really helps.
Yeah. Like, because someone's reading it to you and they're like doing character voices and like, yeah. They're reading with
engaging.
fluency. They're engaged.
It's literally their job to make it engaging.
Yeah. And it's engaging. So I'm reading ACOTAR almost halfway through.
Yeah.
I feel like I started like a week ago.
Yeah, you
So
kind of
I'm flying
through it once you got into it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
But I mean, honestly, Feyre pisses me off, as I've mentioned. I guess that's not really a spoiler.
No.
I
Feyre
just feel
pisses
like
me off too.
I feel like there's just someone that she should open her heart and mind to.
Yeah.
Just a thought I had. And then on my Kindle, I always read a crappy book on my Kindle because I have Kindle Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Kindle Unlimited because you know what? Nothing just erases the shittiness of the day than smut.
True.
So every night before bed, I have a book on my Kindle and it's just smut. It's like no substance, just sex. Actually, that's not true. There's some substance. I don't like smut that's just pure sex the whole time.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fun.
It's not fun. And those books I always give like a 2 stars. I need character traits. I need build up. I need plot. Yeah, I need plot. So I'm reading Mistakes Were Made. It's a lesbian romance.
Ooh.
I wouldn't rank it like, it's smutty, but not in the sense that it's graphic.
Okay.
It's just a lot of it.
Oh, okay.
But it's not like graphic. It is graphic, but not as graphic as like, I don't know if anyone's read Birthday Girl, but that's graphic. I'd say this is like, she slid her hand down my pants, but she's not like explaining
every second
with adjectives, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's more just like, this is what happened. So that's what I'm reading on my Kindle. Actually, we talk about that later. Never mind. What is some of your favorite genre or some of your favorite genres?
My favorite genre as of right now
It's a genre
is romantasy/fantasy. I feel like I haven't really gotten into pure fantasy yet.
I feel like you've really been only scratching the surface with fantasy for sure.
Yeah, only scratching the surface. But so far, like that's all I think about is I want to read more and more and more romantasy books out there.
Crantasy? Crescent City kind of tripped you up a little.
Crescent City is hard, and I looked it up. A lot of people struggle with it. Even people that read like high fantasy books, they really struggle with that book. So I think it's just one of those books.
I wonder if that sneeze just picked up.
Alex just sneezed. He sneezed again.
I don't have an office with a door, is a fun fact about me. So we record in public spaces, which is normally fine.
I always heard that recording in a closet is good.
You know how hot we would get?
Yeah.
We record in my closet, maybe.
Even then.
There's like pretty small closets in this house, I feel like.
Yeah, yours is the biggest, if anything.
Yeah. That was a tangent. My favorite genre when I first started reading was 100% romance. Like, yeah, that's all I read. Never strayed away. And I think like what happened to me is what happens to a lot of romance readers is like there's not really a whole lot of variety in the format of a fantasy book or romance book. Romance books have the same plot: girl meets boy, flirt around, putz around, canon event, break up, get back together at the end.
Yeah,
and it's like I can predict that with my eyes closed every time. However, the book I'm reading right now, Mistakes Were Made, is a romance, and I'm 80% into it, and there hasn't been like the climax.
Oh, interesting.
That's weird, right?
Is there other stuff going on?
There's like looming things, but I don't really see how there's gonna be a climax and then it's gonna end happily, all within the next 20%. And I'm probably more than 80% along because it's on a Kindle.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. That used to be my favorite Colleen Hoover girly for life back then. Now I know this is such a broad genre. But I just love what
like literary fiction.
Literary fiction.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love that it's such a broad. Like everyone's like, that's too broad. I don't care,
especially when it has a little bit of romance in it.
Yeah, and I went through my historical fiction era earlier this year, and I loved it. Lessons in Chemistry was my book of the year last year. That's historical fiction. I read this book called The Kitchen Front that I loved. It was about World War II ration cooking and stuff. I highly recommend that on audio. So I feel like, I don't know, literary fiction. It's my vibe. I don't think I like high fantasy because just being halfway through ACOTAR, like this is kind of like,
yeah, and that's
enough.
low.
Yeah, that's like enough for me.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say maybe mid.
I like when they have mildly human like attributes. I'm not going from like my Oompa Loompa era.
Oompa Loompa era.
Books that got us back into reading back in 2020. You know, I think I told you should get back into reading. I was like, you should read this book.
Yes, it was Float
Plan. Yeah,
that did it.
I have a video of Archie humping your arm while you're trying to read that book. Honestly, so the book that got me back into reading was actually a trilogy, Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Yeah. My mom, I'm adopted from China, and my mom has always just wanted me to embrace my culture. Not in a weird way. It's just like who she is. She's a historian. If so, like, it's not weird. But she was like, I read that my mom loves the book review. The woman reads like no other. Yeah. Like nobody else I know. Not only is she a fast reader, she's prolific. Yes. So she was like, I read this review in the book review about this book called Crazy Rich Asians, and I think you should read it. She wasn't lying. Like all 3 books. That's the first, like, so Sabrina knows I'm now vehemently almost exclusively against sequels. Yes. Unless it's like a series, like ACOTAR. Sequel, I feel like it's different than series.
I agree.
Crazy Rich Asians doesn't have sequels. I think it's a trilogy. Like, yeah, you don't get the full story in one book. I don't like books that could just be one book. Like, a lot of romance authors do that. Like, the next book is like the best friend it's like, no. But it's
a story in and of itself.
Yeah. Just be different. So the books that got me back into reading was Crazy Rich Asians. After that, I mean, it really took off for me. I read like When Life Gives You Lululemons. That was a great book. That was actually written by my nanny mom's friend. And then Kevin Kwan came out with Sex and Vanity, which was another great book. He writes great books. He has another one coming out next spring. I already pre-ordered it. That's the book that got me back into reading for sure.
Yeah. The book that got me back into reading is Flow Plan, because you suggested I read it and I was very into it.
That book is written by Trish Dollar, who I'd never heard of before, and she was recommended to me by Heather, which is the channel Bookables on YouTube. She's like a mom YouTuber, or no, she's a booktuber, but it is mom. She's a mom, so she reads a lot of like that stuff. And I loved that book. It's technically a romance. Yeah, it is a romance. But it was very sad.
It's a good romance. It's like it's that kind of romance that, like, romance is not the primary thing in the book.
Yeah, it's closed door. So there's no, like, I think there's one mildly spicy scene in the whole thing. Yeah. That's and true. Yeah, I wouldn't say, and it's got a lot of depth. Yes. It's not like,
when you first suggested I read like this romance book, I was like, I don't know if romance is for me. But then I read that one. I really liked it.
Yeah. It was a top tier book. And I recommend anybody. So she wrote a second book. that I just hated. And it was a sequel of one of the characters.
Is it that cabin one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. It wasn't freaky fresh. It wasn't giving what it needed to give.
Listen, that was my beginner book. So like, can't always expect it to be amazing.
Yeah.
First go.
What's it called?
I don't remember.
The Sweet Spot.
Oh yes.
Nothing sweet about it. We're gonna unpack some of our book icks.
Oh, I have too many.
Sabrina has a lot. I don't have as many.
So you should go first.
My book icks are more about what the content of the book. Sabrina has book icks that are like about books in general.
I have both.
Yeah, I don't have both.
Okay.
One of my biggest book icks is the mentioning of social media or real world things. Like, don't tell me that you were scrolling through Instagram in bed. Don't tell me that you like posted a TikTok in a book. It takes something away from your literature.
It's not escapism anymore.
No, yeah, it's weird. I don't like it. All these hot takes about romance books that people have, like people hate the pregnancy trope, love the pregnancy trope. People don't like guys best friend, love it. I don't really see that. I feel like romance has a lot of icks. But one ick that everybody has, that's not just in romance, it's in most books, is this like I let go of a breath I didn't know I was holding.
Oh,
like
ew.
Immediately when I read that, I've docked half a star.
Yeah, that is
because something about it.
It's just written poorly.
Yeah. It's just like, why? Like, why? You couldn't think of something else?
Yeah.
Like,
it's really a lot of phrases that is like sprinkled here and there that does it for me, That it's like,
yeah.
That one, for example, is like, oh.
Another one closely related to that, very prevalent in Lease on Love.
Oh.
Was the whole like, I'm a girl boss. I'm a girl bossing, like literally in the book it would be like girl bossing engaged. Like, yeah. What the heck is that? What in the diddly darn tootin' heck is that?
Diddly darn. Wasn't that also the same book that she was like, hey bitches?
Yeah.
To like her friend group? Ew. No, nobody talks like that. That just gives author that doesn't know how to have friends.
Yeah.
Low-key.
Those are my top 3.
Wow. Yeah, those are good ones. I have too many. I'm going to have to pick and choose. But number 1, Sarah already knows this, is I hate when people break the spine.
Like, whatever. She just wants to, like, make it look like she never touched
purpose. It. Not even that, but, like, Sarah does it on purpose in front of me to bother me. Like, she flips and dips the whole spine, and it's cracked. It's entirely cracked. Why would you want your book to look like that?
So it opens fully?
You can make it open fully. I showed her how to do it properly, and she was like, no.
Because it wasn't as bendy as it is when the spine is broken.
That's not true. You should see my other ACOTAR books. ACA War, that is like one of the biggest ones.
Maybe you don't want it. Maybe you don't want to give me your books then, because I'll bend them all.
I will not be giving you. Actually, I do, because I don't care about those ones. I'm not a collector, so I don't really care.
Sabrina does not collect books, which I think is interesting. Like, I went to go buy the second ACOTAR book because she wanted to keep the second one. But then she was like, I'll give you all these other ones. And I was like, so you're just going to separate. You just want these 2. You don't want the other 3.
I'm not going to reread it.
I don't reread either, but I like to have them.
Yeah, see, it's
like a souvenir of something I've done.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just not a collector. I don't like stuff.
Though quite literally, if I read a book that I don't like, it immediately goes straight somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think I gave Lease on Love away immediately.
Good. I should be gone.
We had a book club, if anyone was curious, and there was nothing but misses in that book club for 6 months straight.
Another ick of mine is when characters in a book don't communicate, and that's like the whole plot.
Oh my gosh, that's literally so many books.
So many romance books.
Yeah.
And it's like the entire problem is like they don't talk to each other.
And it's always just like, and I just wouldn't tell him because he'd never get it.
Yeah,
like, girl, just open your mouth. Like,
literally, like, what am I reading? I'm just reading this girl's inner thoughts, and she could totally just fix it in 2 pages if she opens up.
Yeah, and they just won't.
Yeah, it bothers the heck out of me. And then raunchy smut when the book is mostly fluffy. Like, you can't go from like cutesy to slow burn, it took so long, to like fingering immediately.
I disagree.
Oh no.
give me the smut. Give me give me it all.
But I mean, like, fluffy, like where you don't see the tension. You don't see the tension the whole time. That gets.
I get that. Yeah.
If you just jump from 0 to 100, it's kind of jarring.
That is kind of jarring. I'll admit that.
And then my last one, and I think you'll understand this one, is fantasy terminology can be so icky at times.
Yeah.
Sarah was reading
soot sprouts.
Not sprouts. Sarah was reading Akatar the other day, and she was like, "Ooh, he said mate. Yeah, I don't like that word." And I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. Mate is very weird."
Yeah, like my guy goes, "It was a mating gift."
Yeah.
Who just says something like that? Like that's icky.
It happens so much in fantasy.
What was the thing the creature that I thought was a soot sprite?
Cereal.
Yeah, a cereal. In the Hayao Miyazaki movie, My Friend Totoro, there's soot sprouts.
Oh.
So when I was reading it, I couldn't cereal. Like no, they're soot sprites.
Okay.
And they will be. So whenever I just go to an Akatar conversation, I'm like, oh, those soot sprites. Everyone will be like,
show you a
what?
picture of a cereal, and you won't be thinking the same anymore. Have you seen that TikTok of, maybe not, of like when you're reading a fantasy book and it's like Glarthum and and Bob and I.
Yeah.
Like every name is so weird.
It's just not necessary.
Yeah. I'm reading Crescent City right now as well. Well, I put it on pause for Iron Flame. But one thing they say
immediately when Iron Flame comes out, she's like, no. Take a break.
Yeah. One thing they say in that book all the time that bothers me, instead of saying just God, they have multiple gods. And so every word you would say God in, they put God. So like God's.
Thank gods.
Yeah, thank gods, or God's damned. Instead of God damned. It's awful.
Yeah, that's annoying. Books we hated. So I feel like we can't just say all the books we hated because that's too many. So maybe we should just do like top 3 most hated books.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
My top, and a lot of people will hate me for this, is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Yeah. I did not get the hype. I thought it was boring. A lot of people are like, it's so beautiful. It's so tragic and gorgeous. It's like a poetry. It was boring. I don't understand how people love it. And like the whole tragedy love part of it was so obvious. It wasn't entertaining because you knew exactly what was going to happen.
Wasn't it a retelling?
It is a Greek mythology. I could be wrong. I don't know. But
I think it's a Greek mythology retelling.
Yeah. And like, I can do retellings if it's done right, but that's literally just like telling the story and writing it supposedly beautifully. I didn't get it. And my other one is The Alchemist. Listen, I'm Brazilian. I've been hearing about this book all my life because the author is Brazilian, and everybody's like, it's amazing. He's a great author, blah, blah, blah. I read it.
Where?
I read it, and I think the story is interesting for sure.
Alex loved it.
And for the time, I think it's like very fitting and interesting that an author would write about this. But it's just so, it's trying too hard to be deep. Like way too hard. Okay. Every other sentence is trying to be deep, and that just goes straight through my brain.
Okay. That's fair. Respect.
Yeah. And then my last one is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid.
Oh my gosh. That book was given to me by my cousin. Yeah. And it was just like sitting there, and I was like, Sabrina, you should read this.
Yeah, because at that point, I wasn't interested in romance. She was like, try this. Oh my God. I hated it. It's just so woke. So woke. I can't do like trying to be woke.
Yeah, it's not escapism. We like escapism.
We do like escapism.
Not to say we're not versed in like what's going on in the world. Just like, yeah, why do I need to read about it?
Yeah, and like the whole thing was like it's a black nanny who works for this white family, and the white mom becomes like obsessed with her, and like wants her to be around the family all the time, and then the nanny like starts to realize just how crazy this woman is and wants to get out essentially. And when she tried to get out, she like called the police on her and like made it a whole like, you're trying to take my child away type thing, whatever. I get it. it's an interesting story, but it just didn't. It was too woke. It was talking about racism at all the wrong points when really it's just a crazy white woman, you know?
Yeah. Similar to Little Fires Everywhere. My first is The Great Gatsby.
Yes.
Um,
Agree.
My mother is obsessed with it. She has a first edition copy. Don't try to rob her. She thinks it's a literary masterpiece. My fiance thinks it's a literary masterpiece. I just trying to figure out if I read the same book.
Yeah.
Because
too.
what the heck?
What the heck?
It wasn't good at all.
Finish it. It was so bad.
I rated it 1 star when in reality should have been 0. Yeah. Number 2, One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Talk about one that doesn't communicate.
Yeah. The book was awful. The movie was Hallmark level hilarious. The plot actually does sound fairly interesting. Yet nothing about the book is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
It was this whole, like...
As Miranda Priestley would say in The Devil Wears Prada, not fabulous yet.
It was a whole lot of, which one do I pick? And, like, there's an obvious choice. Like, what are you even doing?
Yeah. She did pick the one that I wanted, though.
Right.
But still. And then my last one was Lease on Love by Fallon Ballard.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
So bad. That's the, hey, bitches.
Girl bossing engaged.
Ew.
It was just...
Like, you own a plant shop.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah. She had nothing going for her, truly. Yeah. That's my last one. Books that... Oh, wait. Let's just do... Okay, yeah. Books that surprised us. This relates back to my little stint in historical fiction, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Because historical fiction who? But then all of a sudden I was like, lessons in chemistry. Kitchen Front, which was about World War II. Like, I was in there.
Where the crawdad sings? That's historical, right?
Yeah. So I think that the thing that used to get me about historical fiction that's not true is that historical fiction is not...
wars.
It doesn't have to be, like Civil War and like slavery. It can be like someone living in that time.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what I missed. And like Lessons in Chemistry was set in like what, 1960s, 1950s?
50s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like not that long ago.
No.
So it doesn't have to be like, you can write a historical fiction book about 2000.
Don't say that. It's true.
But it's historical. I think it just has to... I think that the qualification for a historical fiction book is that it has to relate to a time period and stay true to the stereotypes and things happening in the time.
Yes.
So that's what surprised me. The Lessons in Chemistry and The Kitchen Front, both 10 out of 10.
5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. It should be 10 stars.
We do
should
5.
Just change the whole thing.
But I would do 10. I feel like I could give a book a 7, and it would be different than giving a book a 2.
Yes, for sure. The book that surprised me was Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. It's also one of my favorite books.
Surprised that surprised you. I feel like you were literally got from the jump.
Not really. I literally picked it up at Barnes & Noble. Have never heard of it. It was just there. Read the back. Sounded interesting. And then I read the first chapter and I was hooked. I just didn't expect to like... I thought it was interesting. And I wanted to like branch off, not read all like these popular book talk books. This was after The Song of Achilles. I wanted to cry. I just needed a good book. And yeah, I didn't expect to like it. And I liked it immediately.
You sell that book so hard.
Yeah. And it's not... by the end of the first chapter, I was got.
She literally talks about it all the time. I did read one of his books. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Which is a hot take for her.
Yeah. It is. I understand that it's a hit or miss for people.
Going off about hits or miss for people. Hits or misses for people. English. Sabrina and I are Kindle and physical book girlies, which I think that a lot of people are either one or the other. Like I'm in a Kindle Facebook group and all of them are strictly Kindle people. They don't read any physical books at all. And I don't know. I think that's interesting because I think that there's a time and place for both. Yeah. I love Kindle for reading in bed.
Me too.
because it's just easier. I can flip around. It's like holding your phone. You can flip around, dip around, whatever. You can have the lights off.
You can lay down, be in any position.
Which, being able to have the lights off when you share a room with somebody,
yeah,
is nice. Also, like, even when you're on vacation on a plane, taking Kindle is a lot smaller than taking like Crescent City. Yeah. So I love, Sabrina doesn't, but I love collecting books. Like, I just love looking at them. So I feel like that's part of why I like physical books. And also, I love going to Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
So
could you pick a favorite if you had to, Kindle or physical?
Right now, I'm definitely in my Kindle era. Like, I think I've mentioned to you multiple times that I would rather have ACOTAR on my Kindle.
Yeah.
Because I like to be, like, in a cute position. I don't want to be up and sitting, whatever.
Yeah.
But, so Kindle.
Yeah, I'd say I'd prefer physical, actually, which I find funny.
That's interesting. Because I read a Kindle a lot.
I think I enjoy the book a lot more if it's physical.
I also like the instantaneous aspect of a Kindle. True. Like, if I want to read a book, I'm going to go buy it and I'll read it.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait as much. But I do like in a physical book being able to, like, see how much, like, visually where I am. So, being able to go back.
Yeah, see the map at the beginning instead of... Like, just, you can flip instead of just...
ACOTAR has a map at the beginning of it, which I'm sure would be in the Kindle book.
It is, yes.
But I just don't think it'd be the same. Because I can flip back and be like, these are the Imperial lands.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the artist in me or what. But I feel like I can appreciate a book more if it's physical and I see the cover and, some of them have sprayed edges and stuff. I can appreciate that a lot more than just, like... On Kindle, I feel like it's kind of fake. You know,
the first time that the reason originally my Kindle was only for books that were ugly. Remember? Yeah. Like, I would buy a book if people were recommending it that were like heinously ugly. Yeah. On Kindle, because then I like don't care. I still do that, but like you read Iron Flame and Fourth Wing on a Kindle. Yeah.
I don't know why, because I wish I did read it physical, but
I think I bought it on Kindle first.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was gonna read it.
Oh, okay.
But one thing about me is if I end up liking the Kindle book and the cover's cute, I will go buy it.
Yeah, she'll buy the book in every format if possible.
Yeah, even so it's like $40 for one book, really.
Yeah, and the audiobook.
Yeah, but I use Libby for audiobooks, so it's free.
Oh, okay.
I don't pay for audiobooks, but I do pay for physical books, and I try not to pay for Kindle books, but sometimes I do because I have Kindle Unlimited. Life hack: if you have two adults on your Kindle plan, like Sabrina and I do, we can share our whole library. So Sabrina's like my spouse on my Amazon account. And then like whatever book I buy, she can also have on her Kindle. So two people get to read it, which makes it half the price. Girl math. That's a hack. But I also think it depends on my mood. Like, sometimes I'm like cozied up. Other times I'm like scholarly.
You want to put on your glasses.
Yeah. Which is like, I like to read at night.
I like to read in the morning.
Yeah. Sabrina doesn't take a book with her when she goes to bed, which I just find funny.
Yeah, I've tried multiple different times of the day because there were moments where I think I was just in a weird slump and I wanted to get out of it. And I always found that in the morning, as soon as I wake up, instead of scrolling on Instagram, I just pick up my book.
I'm a big social media in the morning girl. And then when I get to my room every night, I shower at night, as you should. And I plug my phone in, take my shower. When I get back into bed, I don't pick my phone up again. I pick up my Kindle.
Yeah, I want to get there, but I can't do that.
It helps you fall asleep faster, people.
Yeah.
TikTok stimulates.
That's true.
Books calm.
I don't know why I don't feel the need to scroll in the morning, but I do at night. It's weird.
I love scrolling in the morning is when I feel like everything happened. I don't know. Because I go to bed kind of early. News. Yeah, like I went to bed at 10:30 last night.
I went to bed at like 12:30.
You're just laid in bed for 2 hours?
Yeah. On TikTok.
Yeah, I can't. What are your reading goals lately, in the past, whatever?
I didn't really have reading goals until you mentioned them, and I got Goodreads.
Goodreads is the interface is so clunky.
It's tragic. Why can't they just?
But it is fun.
Yeah, it is. You had like a crazy goal of like 20 something. I don't even know, but I put 12, like one book per year last year, and I was able to stick with it, although I struggled a little bit because I was in a weird slump at one point. And then this year I decided to raise it by one, so this year my reading goal is 13, and thanks to my crazy feral ACOTAR marathon. I'm 3 books ahead.
Whoa. Okay, so 2021 I read 21 books. So in 2022 I challenged myself to read 22.
Yeah.
And I did. I reached the goal. Then this year real school happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in 5 classes. I work part-time and I have an internship. And I tried to do 23 books, and I think it was around August. I was like, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I decided to do 17.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much more manageable for me.
Yeah.
I am 2 books behind, but also what I don't like about Goodreads is like right now I'm like 70% into one book and 40 into the other. So I will get,
Yeah. Like you can easily.
Yeah. I just feel like I have to get there. Next year though, because I'll be graduating, I'm 100% going back up to 24.
Oh, okay. You're a fast reader.
I am a fast reader.
So it works for you.
The problem with me is I have ADHD. So I'm a fast reader, but it takes me a while to get into it. Mm-hmm. And then once I'm in it, I'm fine.
I'm such a slow reader.
Do you think that you're going to slow down or make your goal more for next year or no?
I think I will try to do 14 next year. I think it really does depend on my mood. I'm such a big mood reader that if like I'm not into books for like 3 months, so be it, you know.
I wonder if instead of doing 24, I should start back at the 14, like the teens, and do 14 books in 2024, 15 books in 2025.
Yeah, I think that'd be more manageable and less stressful.
I don't know how I read 22 books last year.
I guess when you were like nannying.
I know, but when I look back at the books I read last year, not that great.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you have like one of these goals, and like it's helpful if you do it the right way, but like a lot of times it'll be more stressful than not, and like you're gonna be reading terrible books. Like we read The Great Gatsby because that's a number, you know, that's a book. But I hated that book.
It was really not good. Everything that everyone says about it, like maybe we are reading different books.
All of these books that people say are too deep, I learned to stray away from. I want something that's fun and entertaining and dramatic, not let's think about life.
Let's think about life. Well, just so everybody knows, the Goodreads Choice Awards are live. Romantasy, 4th Wings at the top, and you can vote for them if that's how you feel you would like to spend your time.
Right now.
Best fantasy, I feel like ACOTAR's Miss is gone.
I think it's... Yeah, I think when the next book comes out, which I'm sure it will in the next like 5 years. I thought it was done. No. If she ends it with that book, we're all storming her house immediately.
I thought it was done.
She is known for her cliffhangers. And
dude, every chapter at the end, I'm like, how am I supposed to just stop reading now?
Yeah.
Like, insanity.
And it carries on with her books. So... And there's a cliffhanger. We need more.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us on our Reader Barbie journey. We could talk about books all day. So if you have any other things you want to know, ask away, baby.
Oh, yeah. We are, as you've noticed, we're very opinionated.
Yeah.
We have an opinion on every book.
So hot takes on every book.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if this ever like goes anywhere, we could do like a Hey Friend podcast book club.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
With like a Discord or something.
That'd be fun.
So until next time,
Thanks
bye, friend.
For hanging. Bye, friend.